This episode of the Framework Podcast is brought to you by the Planning and Development Department. Hey everyone, this is your friendly neighborhood city planner Rashidul Hassan Deepman. Welcome to the Framework Podcast. Our guest today is Mimi Trent. Jamila Mimi Trent was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. She moved to the greater Nashville area in 1994 and returned to her hometown of Detroit, Michigan in 2021. During her time in Nashville, she received her bachelor's degree in religious studies and Ph.D. in social justice. She was an active member in the church and in the community. She was a community/volunteer coordinator with the NAACP in Nashville and Murfreesboro, Tennessee. She was a board member at the Bradley Academy Historical Museum at Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and IDA Cares at Nashville, Tennessee. She was also a freelance writer with the Spiritual Herald, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, participated in Taking the Streets Back campaign and WNSG Toy Drive at Nashville, Tennessee. She also worked in the bridge consulting industry for nearly 15 years, and after that became a HUD-certified Housing Counselor. She currently works as Housing Counselor at Central Detroit Christian Community Development, also known as CDC. She has deep roots in the community and wanted to bring her community engagement experience back to her hometown. We talk about her experience working at the CDC, addressing pressing housing issues in the community, and her thoughts on how to resolve them. It was a pleasure talking to Mimi about housing challenges in the community. I hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I did making it. Here's me talking to Mimi Trent from CDC. All right, Miss Mimi Trent, thank you for taking your time from your busy schedule and joining us today in this episode of the Framework Podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate that.
So how you doing?
I am well. How are you this morning?
I mean, I wish the weather could be a bit cooler.
Oh, you know what? One minute we want it to be cool, one minute we want it to
Right?
be hot. I never
Exactly.
thought I would be a fall person, but I'm a fall person now.
But why
I
weren't you before?
Because I love the heat. But
Ah,
now it seems like it's hotter than usual. So I
yeah,
prefer now the spring and fall now as opposed
right,
to just straight out summer. Mhm.
right. I know. Things
Yeah,
are things are
it's heating up.
I know, right?
Yes.
Um, so I have interacted with you through block club meetings, steering
Yeah,
committee meetings. You've
yeah,
also came to the community meetings for Midwest-tireman.
yes, sir.
And in the Midwest Civic Council of Block Clubs meeting, that's where I saw you present something.
Yes,
And in the presentation, you mentioned that you have deep roots in the community.
yes, sir.
Can you tell me about having those deep roots?
Well, my great grandparents lived over in that area on my father's side. And all I can say is I remember my grandmother born in 1917 in that
Mm-hmm.
area. Also, too, my parents met off of Whitewood and Beechwood when they were 9 years old, and they end up getting married at a church that's still there on Roseline and Tireman. And before my father passed, they were married for 45 years. From Whitewood, my parents were actually my mom and her family. They moved on Green Line
Mm-hmm.
in 1964. That house is still there, and my grandmother is still there. So my family has been in that area since the early 1900s. So I have, like I said, deep roots. And then, too, not only did I attend, but I graduated from Barton Elementary. I graduated from Drew Middle School. I graduated from McKenzie High School. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then my father, when he was in high school, he graduated from Chatsey, and my mom and her siblings also graduated from Mackenzie. So my family is all up in there.
Right. So I knew you kind of left and then came back, right?
I did in the early, I want to say around 94, 95. I moved to Nashville with my aunt and her husband. Um, and I thought that I thought I was going to be gone for about a month or a year. I still had some of my bags packed.
Right.
And then that year turned into nearly 30 years. It was about
Mhm.
28 years. And I just got back to Detroit 2 years ago.
So what were your some earlier memories when you were growing up?
In that area, one of the things that I remember, and me and my sisters, we still talk about it to this day, block clubs.
Mm-hmm.
We remember when I want to say at least once a quarter, how the community would get together, and we will have these block club parties, or we will have yard sales. It was just a very tight knit
Right.
community. Yes, sir. And it was very vibrant and active as well. We had businesses. I remember from my grandmother's house on Tireman, there used to be a penny candy store. We were up there every day. We used to play. Because I was a tomboy too. So
Mm-hmm.
right on the corner of my grandmother's block of Green Line and Tireman, you may see me 1 minute playing with dolls, the next minute I'm on the corner playing kickball, football, baseball. So all of these things, like I said, it was a very vibrant community growing up, and people watched after each other, looked after one another. If you got in trouble with one parent, you would get in trouble with the whole block. So
Right.
those are some
Right.
things that I remember growing up.
So it was basically a very tightly knit neighborhood.
It was a real tight knit community, very active community.
So, Miss Trent, one of the reasons we invited you to the Framework podcast is because of not being an integral stakeholder in the community, but also the work that you are doing as a housing counselor
Yeah,
at the Central Detroit Christian Community Development, also known
yeah,
as CDC.
that's correct.
Can you tell us more about CDC and the specific work that deals with housing concerns in a community?
Yes. I am a HUD-certified counselor with CDC. Now, one of the things that I do here by being in the housing counselor department, we teach from an educational perspective. So let's say someone comes in and they are interested in purchasing a home and they're working with a lender. Well, the
Right.
first thing they have to do now, and this is due to the housing market crash that took place in 2007, 2008, they need to take a class. And that's where we step in. So I teach pre-purchase home ownership, post-purchase. We also have partnerships with the city. So if someone is looking to purchase a land bank home, they have to go through a compliance class. Well, we offer those classes. If someone is living in their home and they lost their home due to foreclosure or property taxes, and they want to buy their home back, you know about the buyback program. So we teach those classes as well. So we teach things from an educational perspective, but Central Detroit Christian as a whole, they do oh my God, it's a variety, a plethora of things ranging from, we have a daycare here, starts at 6 weeks. And then we partner with the city with their GDYT program. So literally, we are touching people from the ages of 6 to 24 years old. And then also to CDC, we have property management development. They own like nearly 200 properties. So we have people here sometimes calling and they're looking for an affordable place to stay. So it is a lot of things that we do here. But the department that I'm in,
Right.
like I said, with housing counseling, we help people from an educational perspective. And if we may not have it, that's where the partnerships come in. So we can Like, for example, when people want financial assistance, that's something that we don't do, but we have partners that may do that. So we point them in the right direction.
Okay. So, in your opinion, what are some of the pressing issues pertaining to housing in the Midwest-tireman neighborhood?
One, affordable housing, because we are starting to see a change in the social dynamics. And also, too, rent is astronomical now. I never thought in a million years, I don't know why, because everything else has gone up, but it's pretty hard for people to find affordable homes. And then two, home repair. That's another thing, because you know that some of these, like for example, the home that I live in was built in 1925, and then you have homes that's older than that. So those are some of the two main things that we hear: affordable housing and home repair, and just trying to find, to those who may not want to be a homeowner at the time, but just trying to find a place that's affordable. It's getting very scarce and very hard to do.
I'm just curious to know, how do you define affordable housing?
Oh my goodness. Um, yeah, because every time you go on the HUD website, it's higher and higher. And the reason for that is that they just don't include the city of Detroit. As you know, they include the metro area, such as Livonia, anything that's in Wayne County. So if you were to go on their site right now, they say that the average annual, the median income is over 89,000. For who? So I believe that if they extrapolate, if they take, the Metro Detroit area out of it, they will see that no, that the annual median income will drop dramatically. They say that when it comes to especially renting, they have these percentages, and I'm really not going to go into that because I don't want to go over anyone's head.
Right.
But they say that you should spend at least 25 to 30% of your gross income, where you have people that's spending nearly 45 to 50% now, because like I said, everything, you might as well to a certain degree purchase a home, because the rent, some of this rent is higher than an actual mortgage. So I think affordable would be 25 to 30, if that.
Right. And I'm kind of curious to know, how do you envision some of this issue of affordability being resolved?
Well, one of the things that I can say that I love what Central Detroit has done, every time they purchase um, property, they put it in the contract that it needs to be affordable for perpetuity. I know, especially with the Greenway coming through, and I've heard people say this, they have a lot of people that's calling them, wanting them or wanting to know if they're going to sell their homes, because they know that since the Greenway is coming, other things will possibly come. And so I believe that if people truly care, and I heard someone say this, you have a lot of corporations that are profit driven, but we are people driven. And I hope that if a person, if they truly have the community at heart, they will be people driven and not looking at just the profits of what they're making, and to know the different kinds of people that live in the community, because unfortunately we know with different things, we see this throughout history, that when things come, you have changes and the property taxes are high. So if, like I said, if people who are really concerned about the community, and if they purchase property, if they can put that in the contract that this will be affordable for perpetuity, I believe, and also to a cap as well. If they can put caps on, and it's like I said, it's a double-edged sword, because here we love our tenants. Also, at the same time, there are landlords. We have property management as well. But if we can put some type of cap on it, where it won't be so astronomical and won't be so unaffordable for people, I believe this can be the first step to solving some of these things that we are seeing in the community.
Yeah, I think with a city like Detroit, the one of the challenge is you want growth to happen, right?
Right, you do.
But you also want to make sure not at the cost of.
Exactly, especially our legacy Detroiters as well, who have been hold even when I left. I mean, you had a lot of legacy Detroiters holding this city down. It was their taxes, whether small or little, whatever it was. They were the ones that was keeping this city, were, and they still are keeping this city afloat. So I would hate to see where, yes, we have all of these wonderful things coming in, but the ones that have been holding this city down, they're not benefiting from the things that's coming into the city.
Right. I wanted to kind of touch base on home repair as well. What are
Mhm.
some common home repair issues that you've
Number
heard
one,
about?
roof. Roof. The
Yep.
people need a new roof. People need windows. Those are the two main things that you hear about a lot. People need plumbing repairs because, again, these houses are very old. They're old, and if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. I know in the 48206 and in the 48204 area, the lead levels are off the charts. And we know that lead can affect our children, the way they learn, the brain stimulation, the chemical makeup of our children. So, like I said, those are the main two that I hear a lot. Roof,
Hmm.
as far as lead, but number one, people need a new roof.
Right.
Um, some people need a whole house. I mean, seriously, these are the things that we're hearing.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, kind of sidetracking a little bit, but
Okay.
in our last episode, Rashard Dobbins was here,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and we talked about a lot of things, but one of the things that he mentioned was there was a food desert in the community.
That's right. It is. It is. As a matter of fact, now I'm near the Joy Road area off of 96. And I saw a man walking from where I was. He was 2 blocks behind me, and he was walking to Joy Road and Linwood just to get to a Dollar General store. We only have one grocery store in the community. And that's why shout out to Miss Rushan Long and Miss Sherry Burton and Miss Lamonda. We're trying to get a Greenway produce in that area because it is a food desert. It's a food desert. And going back to what you asked me about a fond memory, we used to have grocery stores. That's another thing. We didn't really have to go outside of the city to find a healthy store. We had them in the city. So this is one of the reasons why we're trying to get the Greenway produce up, because it is a food desert, and sometimes with the limited access of the food that's out there, people are shopping at these liquor stores or what have you not, and some of the food is not healthy at all. So again, we're trying to get that up and running. Hopefully, we'll have that up this year. And we want to also partner with different local growers as well as farmers in getting together so we can provide a choice of healthy food to our community.
Can you
Yes.
kind of elaborate on that a little bit more?
Well, the first thing we want to do, we were talking about doing something like a mobile food truck, but we know that is getting that together is pretty expensive. So we have that in the works. But for right now, what we want to do is have a pop-up market just to hurry up and get it out there to the people. So I know Miss Rushan, she owns some property off of Tireman. So we're thinking about not thinking about we will have something there in the future. And also too, we give a shout out to Equity Alliance Management as well, because Miss Deanna and Mr. Carlton, they are helping us out with this. They said that we can also use a parcel of their property. So we have some wonderful partnerships, and it's just such a blessing for people that have like minds to come together to we want to see this community flourish again. So we have all of these different partnerships and connections with these wonderful like-minded people. So that's what we're starting off doing, using properties first, and then we will move into the mobile truck.
Absolutely. So, if there's one thing you would like to see change in the neighborhood and be addressed in the framework itself, what
Mhm.
would it be?
Community, that we will come together again. It's deeper than, don't get me wrong, I am in the housing sector, but if we don't come together, I don't care if you build mansions in the area, it will still, just be discombobulated and everything. So if we can just come together, and we are. I'm seeing this every time I go to a block club meeting. I'm seeing people, just the positive vibes there of wanting to see us flourish again, and we are getting there. Um, Another thing that we need, we need schools as well, because not only are we, and going back to what Rashard said, not only are we a food desert, but we don't hardly have any schools. We don't have any schools over there at all, as well as rec centers. So if we can just, I just like to look at things from a holistic perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything is interconnected. I mean, that's kind of the
Yes,
nature of the framework itself. You
yes,
look at the community, the neighborhood at various elements,
yes,
from housing, open spaces, mobility, economic development.
yes.
That is life, isn't it? Like everything is intertwined.
It's
So it's
intertwined.
just
That's
that's how it
right.
plays.
Yes.
So this is a question I often ask my guest is there anything specific about the neighborhood that you would like the audience to know about?
We had a lot of notable people in that area. I know sometimes when we think of musicians, we automatically go to the Motown area,
Right.
but I remember my dad sharing with me how a lot of blues notables will come, especially to the Bluebird Inn. He would tell me
Shout
about,
out to the Bluebird Inn.
yes, 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 yes. He would tell me how my grandmother and Billie Holiday used to hang out. I mean, he would tell me all of those things. So we have a very, not only musical history over there, but also spiritual. That was the church roll over there. So just, and like I said, it was just so vibrant. So one the history is that I think of is the music and the churches. As a matter of fact, my great grandfather, he was one of the first deacons at Hartford when they were over in that
Okay.
area. William Trent, yes, 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 yes. So the spirituality is deeply rooted over there, as well as um, the music.
So, what do you hope to get in terms of outcome from this framework?
Well, one of the things that I would like to see is a thriving, healthy community where everyone can benefit from this. For example, sometimes when I look at the suburban area, and that's where I came from when I was living in Nashville, I look at all the things that are there versus the inner city. And one of the things that you see everywhere in the suburban area, they have a lot of greenery. They have places where you can exercise. We like to exercise too. We don't want to have to go far out to do things. So I would love to see more thriving businesses. I would like to see um, locals being able to take advantage and open more entrepreneurs. And like I said, just looking at things from a holistic perspective, just a healthy environment in general, where there's healthy homes, a healthy community, where we have access to things that are beneficial to our minds, bodies, and souls, so things of that nature.
Absolutely. So this is obviously has been great. I know you have
Yes,
a very busy
sir.
schedule, but
Yes,
I'll
sir.
let you go with this one final question. And this is
Okay.
something is kind of becoming like the question that I end with. If you had to describe Midwest-tireman as a song, what would it be?
Oh.
I mean, you
Oh
have to,
no. Oh
because
my
you just mentioned the
God.
Bluebird Inn. You have to come up with a song.
Oh my God. Oh, this was a hard one. You should have prepped me on that one so I can research. So you know what? I can't. Oh my goodness, a song. I can't think of one offhand. I can't. But if something was to embody a song, I would say I look at our neighborhood like a phoenix. I look at it as something that will come up from the ashes. Um, it seems like when you count us out, we bounce back. Now I don't know a song for that, but I can look one up.
I will survive. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's it. That's it.
I
I'll
will survive.
fly. I'll use that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think it's kind of appropriate.
Yes, yes, sir.
Um, so Miss Trent, thank you so much
Yes.
for your time and sharing your
Thank
thoughts.
you. Thank you
Uh,
so much for inviting
I do
me.
appreciate. No, it's my pleasure. Just
Mhm.
I love like listening to hear your thoughts about the community and the city of
Thank you,
Detroit.
sir.
Where can people find you on the internet?
I do have a Facebook page. It's called Mimi the Resource Guru, and I say that because um, I try to put out information on Facebook, any resources that's out there. Also, too, if they need any housing assistance or what have you not, they can contact me. Now, tell people this is a long email address, but it is Trent, TRENTM, as in Mimi, at centraldetroitchristian.com, or they can give me a call at area code 313-873-0064, extension 18. So those are the ways that you can reach me.
This is great. So,
Yes,
Miss Trent,
sir.
it's been a pleasure talking to
Yes,
you and getting to
likewise.
know you.
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you so much again.
You're welcome. This is Rashidul Hassan Deepan signing off. Take care, Detroit. Thank you for listening. If you like this episode, please visit detroitmi.gov/midwest-tireman and sign up for updates on the neighborhood framework, the latest podcast episodes, and upcoming community engagement meetings.